All right, today we are diving into one of the most incredible stories in American sports. We're talking about the Columbus Crew, one of Major League Soccer's founding clubs. And trust me, this isn't just a sports story. It's a story about trailblazing firsts, a fight for literal survival that caught the entire world's attention, and, well, a pretty epic comeback. So here's the big question that sits at the heart of this whole thing. How on earth did an entire city, actually go to court to save its soccer team and win? I mean, this is a story that completely changed the game when it comes to the power of the fans. To really get why this fight became so personal, so intense for the people of Columbus, you have to go back to the beginning. See, the Crew wasn't just another team in the league. They were there from day one, a true pillar of MLS. Their whole identity was built on being pioneers. They were announced as a founding member way back in '94. But the really huge moment, the one that changed everything, came in 1999. They built the very first stadium in the entire country designed specifically for soccer. It was a revolutionary idea that basically gave every other team the blueprint for how to do it right.
And you can't overstate how big of a deal this was. I mean, imagine going from playing in this massive 100,000-seat football stadium to your very own intimate fortress built just for your sport. It wasn't just about a new building. It was a powerful statement that soccer in America was here to stay.
So with that foundation, the team started to build a real legacy. This next chapter is all about getting that first taste of victory, and, of course, the tough times that always seem to follow. And then, in 2002, they finally did it. The club got its hands on its first major piece of silverware, winning the US Open Cup over the LA Galaxy. It was this huge moment of validation for all that early ambition. They were champions. This wasn't just a one-off thing either. That win kicked off a period where they were just plain dominant. They won the Supporters' Shield, that's the trophy for the best record in the regular season, 3 times in 6 years. They weren't just a decent team, they were consistently one of the absolute best. The absolute peak, the top of the mountain for that era, definitely came in 2008. They were led by this brilliant Argentinian playmaker, Guillermo Barros Schelotto, who was the league MVP. He captained them all the way to their first ever MLS Cup. They'd finally reached the summit. But you know how these stories go. After the highest of highs came a shocking, unbelievable low. The crisis that followed threatened to wipe away everything the club had ever built. On October 17, 2017, the team's owner at the time, Anthony Precourt, dropped an absolute bombshell. This quote you see here sent shockwaves not just through the city, but the entire league. An original MLS club was officially thinking about moving to Austin, Texas. Just like that, the team's very existence in its hometown was on the line. It got messy fast. Things broke down completely. After this one crucial meeting, you had 2 totally different stories. The owners group said the city didn't bring any real plan to the table. Meanwhile, the city leaders were saying the owner wouldn't even consider taking the threat of relocation off the table. They were worlds apart, at a complete stalemate. But here's where the story takes a turn. With their backs against the wall, the fans in the city, they didn't give up, not even close. Instead, they organized one of the most incredible, passionate campaigns you'll ever see in sports. The whole movement was built around the hashtag Save the Crew. But it was so much more than just a hashtag. It went global. Seriously, you started seeing these banners pop up in stadiums all over the world. Soccer fans everywhere were showing their support. Their strategy was brilliant, really. It was like a 3-part play. First, you had the grassroots fan movement that put a ton of public pressure on the owner in the league. Then, they took a step that nobody saw coming. The city and the state of Ohio literally sued the team's owner. That legal fight created just enough time for the final piece of the puzzle to fall into place, finding a new local ownership group to buy the team. Now, the secret weapon they had in their back pocket was this kind of obscure Ohio state law called the Medill Law. It was actually named after the guy who moved the Cleveland Browns football team to Baltimore. The law basically gave the city the right to sue, saying the team couldn't just pack up and leave without giving locals a fair shot to buy it. This was the key that unlocked the entire fight. And guess what? Against all odds, it worked. A new local ownership group, led by the Haslam family, stepped in and saved the team. And what happened next wasn't just about survival. It was a full-blown comeback story, a renaissance. And this right here just says it all. The transformation was just incredible. You go from fans holding up protest banners, desperately trying to save their club, to those same fans celebrating with championship banners in a brand new stadium. It's the same passion, just channeled from desperation into pure joy.
And the success on the field? It was almost immediate. It was stunning. Just 2 years after they were saved, they won the MLS Cup in 2020. Then they did it again in 2023. And in 2024, they added a major international trophy with the League's Cup. What an unbelievable return to the top.
And this is what it was all for. The team celebrating as champions in their city for their fans. It's a victory that's so much bigger than just what happens on the field. It represents the triumph of a whole community that simply refused to let its team die.
So when you look back at this whole saga, it's clear the Columbus Crew's fight did more than just save a team. It wrote a whole new playbook for how a community can fight back. And it leaves you with this really fascinating question. In a world of billion-dollar sports franchises, what does this story really mean for the balance of power between the teams we love and the cities they call home?